August 11th, Niner practices, time to panic. So going to be a lot of Styles hot takes today here from 2 to 6.
Oh, did the Raiders get another interception?
At this hour, yes. They just actually they picked off Shanahan in his press conference. So
what's your problem with Christmas Day games?
Don't spoil the bit here. He's leaving in 11 minutes.
I just think it's a pro Warrior thing. That
not at all. It's anti-schedule. Is what it is.
No,
they shouldn't have to go to Denver.
There were conversations about the Kings, right? And I know the Morning Roast had some fun with the Kings, our buddies in the 916, and I just feel that it's less about the Nuggets because obviously the champs are going to play, but it's more about storylines. And I would have liked to see, okay, you got to slot the Nuggets in. We know the Nuggets, they don't bring a lot of hate or love either way. They're just the Nuggets, right? But I would say it could have been the Kings against the Warriors, and then
I didn't know this was your take. I never would have teed it up.
Why? Well, it could have been Lakers Warriors. It could have been Kings Warriors.
It could have been Santa Cruz against Fort Worth.
No, I would have gotten rid of the
Ants.
I would have gotten rid of the Mavs, but there is a strong Luka agenda and Kyrie agenda. They didn't make the playoffs, right? The Kings did, and I know it's not just about that, but I would have had the Mavs out of there. I would have went Warriors Kings, and I would have had the Nuggets playing whoever the Mavs are playing.
In Sacramento then, right? Just take
Who
it
are they
the whole
playing?
way. The Warriors, if they're playing the Kings in this hypothetical. Yeah,
They would play in Sacramento. Yeah.
So the Kings clearly aren't playing on Christmas.
No.
Nor is Memphis. No is Orlando. Charlotte's not. I don't believe Minnesota is. If we can
City.
What I would say,
we can small market this bit into oblivion if we need to.
What I would say, 10 mintes before I'm ready to get out of here, and I could just
Wiseman.
be like, here's what the joke is. The joke is that the league and the TV networks are trying to shoehorn the Warriors down our throat as if they're actually a Western Conference contender like the Nuggets are.
Well, that's a flimsy take.
Why does
that is.
Where does a 6 seed get off playing the defending National Basketball Association champions?
You understand that the matchup is of the last two champions, right?
No, actually, I didn't know that.
What? Because the Warriors and Nuggets are the last two teams to have won titles
every year?
in the association. No, but this year,
this year it is.
That matchup is a matchup of the two last champions. So the real take, and I hate to do this to my partner because I'm going to need him until about 5:56. And Steiny, a very good friend of mine, your take is even flimsier than his Sacramento take. The real problem is the confluence of the Niner game and the Warrior game at the same time. And this is where the association and the commissioner, Adam Silver, a.k.a. Skeletor, read the room, bro. You know the NBA is playing a triple header that day, and you know the Niners are playing the third of 3 games. So why would you try and go head-to-head 2 games, 1 market? That's the bigger problem.
Well, do we know that
that's a separate problem?
Do we know that the Warriors? No, it is the problem. Do we know that the Warriors are playing at 5:00? Like, are they the prime time?
I thought they were the second to last game of the day. Well, traditionally you have that the Boston game, or I think Boston Lakers is going to be in the marquee spot. So you have the Knicks game, which will be in that 9:30. Hey, we're done opening presents, and somebody Irish up my coffee, and let's throw on the NBA. And then you'll see, Alan, you've got kids now. And then you get to Lakers Celtics, and then I think the Nuggets Warriors would be in that marquee spot in that early evening, late afternoon, where it's like, hey, is it still Christmas? Somebody wake up Daddy, he's snoring.
Adam Silver living in 2017, thinking the Warriors are a marquee type of team that can compete with a team like the Nuggets. I mean, what are we doing?
I love your takes.
What's the last 6 seed that got to play in that type of primetime position?
None, because they didn't have Stephen Curry.
Thank you.
Can you answer?
That's again.
I got a couple questions for you, Steiny, before
they get handed everything.
Before you
franchise.
dip out, when are you flying to Ireland?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. Yeah. So before you go, I have some questions, and the first question is why or what makes this the year of Matt Steinmetz? I don't get that. And you've mentioned it ad nauseum, but this to me feels like any other year for you. you've been wrong more often than you've been right.
No.
Nothing really has gone or broken
Everything's-
your way.
Everything has.
Please explain. Roxy Bernstein.
Just name a team, and I'll tell you.
The Giants.
I'll start with the Warriors. I'll start with the Warriors.
Okay, the Golden State Warriors. There you go.
Despite overwhelming criticism that at times was difficult to stand up to, I told everybody at the beginning of the year, we're winning it. And we're winning it, guys. In fact, they're not really even going to make a run. Ding! That's a win. After the season was over, Chris Paul's name came up. Chris Paul, he stinks. You know what? Chris Paul, I'll tell you what, man. Chris Paul would make some sense for the Warriors. I'll tell you what. I could say, hey, Chris Paul, they go out and get Chris Paul. Ding! Before the Giants season started. All right? And we didn't get Correa. And we didn't get Judge.
Arson.
And we're going to stink. And no, there's no interest. And I said, dude, it's baseball. Farhan has proven he can field a competitive team. Good chance we're talking in the middle of August, and they're right in the thick of it. Bing! Another right. I mean,
Right. Attendance is up 1%. So
no, I didn't.
you get credit for that.
No, I didn't say that.
No, you mentioned interest.
That's the cherry on top,
As,
right?
You know, you said, and you're going to be no interest.
Oh no, but radio ratings sky high here. We're talking baseball.
John?
Yes.
Gotcha. I thought you were talking about the radio ratings for the play-by-play outlet because,
No, we generate.
Oh, gotcha.
We
okay.
Because
our great ratings are on the back of our, your, in particular, in-depth Giants talk.
Yeah, you know what?
What else have you gotten right?
Well, you know what? And the text line can help me because I've forgotten half of it now.
Well, so far, all I'm hearing you say is
Something about the year of
you
Steinmetz.
typically, and you have every single year, bet against the Warriors. And in fact, you had a bet with your on-air partner, and you don't have to pay me. And in fact, I'm going to pay you. It was a capitulation sensation. So that to me doesn't feel like the year of Steinmetz.
he was having some money issues. I want to. I'm lying. He wasn't, but
Dude,
I'm
that's
trying to
awkward.
get myself off the hook.
That got crazy. Your Giants take is TBD, to be determined. Because right now, you know what they're doing?
What?
They're having a Michael Crabtree year. They're running the fade route. Thank you. That's a 3.
four.
I'll take a 4.
Yeah.
I've used
4
it so
there.
many times. I feel like
okay. I haven't heard
I
that
feel
one.
like another midday guy using great material. But
Number 3.
it's a
See, what
Michael
else-
Crabtree season right now
What else
with
did I get
Boach
right?
coming to town.
What else did I get right? Oh, I've been right on.
You've been having a real good year, Stein.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm just wondering how and why it was the year of Steinmetz, because I always hear that on your show, and I always think, this guy, I mean, he's more full of it than a pinata at a 12-year-old's birthday, babe.
It's clearly a bit. It's a
you.
fun bit.
The other
It's a
one
fun bit,
is,
especially 'cause
and
some
I would
people think I'm
love-
serious
I
and
would
they're like,
love to get a piece of this one.
Oh.
Your put it in the cap.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, put it in the cap is something that he and I started about 7 years ago. We were at his house, and you were just there yesterday.
Was.
And Steiny and I were enjoying an afternoon. Oh, John was there too.
Couple beverages.
So, lovely house. We were enjoying an afternoon of frivolity and tomfoolery, and he and I had this idea. Let's write down a bunch of predictions, make a time capsule, and we will bury it in his yard. So we wrote down like
Forgot about
14 or 15 things, and we put it in the cap. Put it in the cap. We put it in the time capsule, and we were going to unearth it years later, but we couldn't wait more than like a year. And we dug it up, and it was hilarious, the amount of things that we got both right and wrong. But that's
I
where
wish I could remember some of those because
so
there was.
I can only remember a couple, one of which came true years later.
Lonzo
but
Ball?
No, they were.
It might have
of
been a
that-
Mark Jackson in there, I think, or
Absolutely.
something. Of course, I was right on all counts.
But I do
there.
want a piece of your Kirk Cousins bet. You said 10-1, $100.
Do you think that's a fair number, though, to put on it?
I actually think that 10-1 is a. I think the odds on that happening are closer to 25 or 30-1. But 10-1 is just enticing enough to have drawn out my money.
Do you know what we're talking about?
No, what's the
I
bet?
said, listen, Kirk Cousins is going to be the 49ers starting quarterback week 1 next year.
Put it in the cap, he said.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, what would the odds? What kind of odds could you get for that? 10-1. He says maybe 25.
Well, so is that when you?
I think I would. I'd put
Is that
100.
when you believe like?
I'd put
Because you also
100
said
to
the
win.
Raiders are going 13-4, and that was a
Well,
joke.
no, that was a joke.
Yeah.
I'd put $100 on Kirk Cousins starting week 1 next year for the Niners to pay off 2,000.
No, it'd be 1,000.
Sounds
10-1.
great.
That'd be 1,000.
Yeah. I think on the surface, On the surface,
Can I get 15 to 1?
It's interesting.
Can I get 15?
You already locked in 10 to 1. Sorry.
You locked it
Once
in.
the odds makers put it out there and you hit cash, can't take it back.
I was going to pull over, but I was on the Bay Bridge, and it wasn't worth being with flashers on the shoulder to get a piece of that bet. But in a vacuum, I don't think you're wrong. But with this team and this salary structure and Nick Bosa and Ayuk, and they need a quarterback on that rookie deal.
That's why a big part of our conversation today was I think Purdy, you want to come out of this year saying Purdy's the quarterback for the foreseeable future.
Well, it's funny you say that because my guy Styles is going to not tear down that wall, Gorbachev. No, he's going to tear down the depth chart because he's not.
Hey, you better be careful.
No,
it's an unofficial.
I'm not speaking for Styles, but man, a lot of interceptions today at practice.
Well, look, you don't have to. Nobody has to pay attention to these joint practices. All I know is nobody would be quiet last week when it was Purdy and how good the offense looked. So I don't know if it's about Nick Bosa not being out there. I don't know if it's about just a difference between that part of training camp versus facing another team. We know the Raiders are not supposed to be world beaters defensively, but they didn't look great. And when you don't look great against a team that's not supposed to make any noise, that's not good. You don't have to pay attention to it if you want. My question is this. Brock Purdy, and we'll get into this during the show, Brock Purdy was cleared, but does that mean he's 100%?
And you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
I think this is parsing words to me, but that's fine. There's a chance that he is healthy and been cleared, but he's rusty and it needs more strength. But then you would say, well, then that's not totally healthy. So I get like the game we're playing. They got to think he's getting better though.
Right. But the thing is, they haven't addressed it. They said he was cleared to play. They said he was healthy. From what I'm reading and what I'm seeing in Vegas, it looks like the interceptions and the almost interceptions seem to be coming from a lack of arm strength. That's the only reason I bring it up.
Well, let me I asked Evan this too, and it's not even what you guys think. It's how have you interpreted all the coverage of the three quarterbacks? If I said, give me one word for each quarterback from the media's information they've given you. So like for Purdy, I would say, seems like he's rusty, a little rusty.
Sympathetic would be the word
Coddled.
I would use.
Okay.
I'd use the word coddled.
Trey Lance, it feels like he's improving, not there yet. I know we can't.
That was more than one word.
I know, and I knew you were going to go there.
Judgmental would be the way I would say.
And Sam Darnold to me would be like, same old, kind of.
Same old, kind of. 7 words. And,
benefit of the doubt.
I can walk anytime now.
You can walk anytime. You're a wordsmith. I expect more from you. When you say one word.
It's too hard for the listener.
It's really not.
No,
especially
one word's too hard.
When you sculpt the bit.
Forgiving. Okay. Like for Sam Darnold, forgiving. I feel like there's been a lot of that out there.
I would say patient.
Yeah.
They've been patient. And I think forgiving is fair, though, considering he's thrown one pick for every game he's ever started, and he's known to see ghosts.
But Steiny is talking about how the media has covered them,
exactly.
not how the Niners, not what the Niners
Does it
have
feel
said.
like Brock Purdy to you has been rusty in camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Trey Lance, does it feel like he's improving?
Yes.
And Sam Darnold is
who we thought he was.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold is
expected.
Right. Exactly. Expected.
That's what I would say.
Okay. Because I just want to see that I'm reading it like other people are interpreting it too.
The question is rustiness versus, and I hear what you're saying, Steiny, but rustiness versus, does rustiness mean his arm needs to get stronger?
Exactly.
Right? And how long is that going to take? We know he got all the reps today. I'm assuming he got all the reps because he's not going to play in the preseason game. So I get that. The question is, at what point, when you take away the idea of somebody being not healthy or healthy, now it just leaves everybody's minds to go wild, right? So whenever Brock does get out there, if he doesn't look great or he continues to not look great as he looked when he was facing his own team, okay, well, they said he was they said he was good to go, but is this rustiness? So I would just like the Niners, and maybe they're going to do it today if they get asked the question, what is the deal with Brock? Because it doesn't look like we knew that he wasn't going to be the same guy. But when you tell us he's 100% good to go, what are we supposed to expect? We don't know.
I think that's fair. I mean, look, if he threw three interceptions today, you got to say, hey, what happened today with Brock at practice? And at that point, Shanahan's going to say, he'd probably get in protect mode a little bit. Well, the one wasn't his fault, but
the notion of 3 interceptions, it kind of bothers me because 2 of those were in 7-on-7s. And
so you know clearly more of the details about it.
Well, I know that 3 interceptions includes 2 of them in 7-on-7s that were more passer friendly.
Exactly.
And I have always bristled against practice stats in general because if I'm coaching any of these quarterbacks, what I'm telling them is, don't be afraid to throw an interception. I would rather have you cut it loose and take a chance on a throw as opposed to, oh, God, Matt Mayoko and Matt Barrows and Cam Inman have their pens out and Jenny Lee Chan and Tracy Sandler, and they're all going to do my stats. I can't make a mistake. This is practice.
Right.
Make your mistakes in practice.
But my question is, Dibs, how do you interpret passer friendly? Because passer friendly, to me, I interpret it as you shouldn't throw picks. It should be easier for you to not throw picks.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
Versus passer friendly, what would be the other interpretation? Passer friendly, meaning
unfriendly.
You're just going to let it fly. I don't know. To
For me, passer friendly means there's no pass rush. 7-on-7 means you're not rushing me. We're not blocking you. It's my guys against your guys, and there's not a lot of clutching and grabbing, and there's no pressure on the QB.
Yeah.
When I read
stakes.
passer friendly, I read it as, and Steiny will love this, the 3-on-2 drill in basketball. When you're practicing your fast breaks, the defense might get a stop. You're not totally underwater.
Interceptions. Yeah,
exactly.
You shouldn't be turning the ball over.
You got an extra guy.
3-on-2.
That's how I read passer friendly. That's just what I'm
for
saying.
sure. For sure.
That was my favorite drill in basketball. 3-on-2 this way and then 2-on-1 the other way. So you play 3-on-2, and whoever would shoot the ball, or I think whoever didn't shoot the ball, those 2 would have to run back and play defense. It was 3-on-2 one way and then 2-on-1 the other way, and then it was a continuous kind of drill. You were probably great in the 3-on-2. Good decision maker with the ball. Probably not a great finisher at the cup.
That's so
selfish.
Incorrect.
Steiny, you ever play?
You have to stop at the foul line, and my coach made us stop the foul line.
Jump stop, too.
Steiny, you ever play King of the Hill?
No.
It might be, I don't know, maybe it's called something different. When you have the ball at the top of the key,
all right,
and there's a line, whoever else is playing underneath the basket. So you come out and you guard me. I got the ball.
Sure.
If I score, then I stay on the court, King of the Hill.
Okay.
If you get a stop, then you take the ball. Now you're on offense.
King of the court. I don't know.
King of the court.
Yeah, well, like one-on-one.
Yeah. How'd you do in that?
I was undefeated, probably.
Year Steiny?
I don't have the numbers in front of me.
He got the ball at the beginning of practice,
Actually,
didn't give it up until he hit the showers.
I wasn't actually a great one-on-one player. I mean, come on, the boss came in, we did stick to the Niners.
Yeah,
back to the Niners.
Oh, is that why you were saying that? Because I heard it on the drive in. You were getting grilled a little bit, like a chicken breast.
No, just a little too much Ireland talk.
Yeah,
back to the Niners.
Okay.
So we went right back to the Niners.
No, it's great. It's great. And I do think, and we're going to get into this on our show today, 2 to 6, Styles in for Willard. It's brought to you by the U.S. Postal Service because I'm going to be mailing it in. But Sunday becomes big for Trey Lance and Sam Darnold because Brock Purdy's not going to play.
Yes.
So for me, this becomes a Trey Lance, and for the Niners, it's a big-time tour de force. We're going to play the Steve Mariucci sound talking about the idea of potentially trading Trey, or if Trey's able to dominate and look great, do you keep him? I think Sunday, it's probably hyperbole to say the biggest day in Trey Lance's career, but it's up there.
Dude,
you don't think that's hyperbole?
No, and it's for Darnold and for Trey Lance. It's an important game. Like, if you're telling me these guys are battling for the backup spot, then they should both. This should be important for both of those guys. And if Trey Lance is good and Sam Darnold isn't, then I want to believe Trey Lance is going to be the backup quarterback. Like, this has to be consequential. I don't want to hear, oh, well, Sam was working on. No, This is why Purdy's not playing, because you said he was the number one. And now we got this young quarterback. It's like, this is it. It is huge.
I think especially because the backup quarterback position in San Francisco is the most important backup position in all of the NFL right now. Like, there is a very real possibility.
Yeah, it's up there.
There's a very real possibility that someone who is backing up Brock Purdy is going to have to play this season, and they're going to need that person to win games. So I think the fact that Trey Lance gets first dibs kind of aligns with what they've done so far in training camp and OTAs. Trey goes first. They get the same amount of reps, but Trey goes first. So if Trey wows us and if Trey continues to improve and whatever the one we were talking about him as far as his coverage is concerned, if all of that continues, to me, I feel like if things continue to look equal between him and Sam Darnold, that he should be the backup quarterback. And so to me, I view it in a way as his job to lose. And that does make the game very important. It makes every single rep very important because we're going to be dissecting it from 16 different ways. And it's why I can't wait for, no offense, Sonny, but Goo to be back on Monday because I'm sure he's going to have plenty of hot takes about it.
Yeah, and we all will coming off of the Sunday game. And it'll be Trey and Sam and maybe a little bit of Brandon in that game. We know Brock won't play, but I think about all the preseason games we've talked about over the years here with the Niners, and this one feels more important than almost any of them because of what you guys are talking about.
And I remember, this is James. I'm bringing up James Wiseman, but I remember before the Warriors traded Wiseman, like a month before we were talking about him, and I just thought to myself, you can't trade James Wiseman. Like, you can't. He's the number 2 pick, and then they ended up trading him.
You got that one wrong in the year of Steinmetz.
No, that wasn't. No, it wasn't literal. I just meant.
Well, I'm just pointing out
but
that
the point I'm making is me saying,
thank you.
Sam Darnold cannot beat out Trey Lance. Like, Trey Lance has to beat out Sam Darnold.
Right.
Or else
you would hope.
Right. Or else we do have a problem.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm not sure if Trey Lance is auditioning or trying out for QB2 or auditioning for another team. Because I'm not sure it's both. I don't think it's both.
Well, wouldn't he be ideally a QB2 somewhere else?
Well, sure, but it would be with a better track. I mean, we talked about the Bucks or a team or the Falcons, the teams where he would definitely have an opportunity at some point versus we're just going to take him and see.
Well, okay, so in theory, Purdy's the number 1. Lance, can he be our number 2? And let's say, you know what? Yeah, he's definitely our backup. Trey Lance is our backup. Mm-hmm. You would trade him at that point, possibly? If another team said, you know what, let's talk to the Niners about it. Like,
this is what I said yesterday.
I could live with him as a backup this year, for sure.
Right, you might also have to sell high. It depends. This is what I said yesterday on the show as well. It depends if you see Brock Purdy as just QB1 or if you see Brock Purdy as your franchise guy. Because if Brock Purdy's your franchise guy, I think you sell high on Trey. And honestly, just like the rest of the NFL, if your backup quarterback goes down, it's tough sledding. You live with Sam Darnold. You paid him the money. All right, this is the best we're going to get for Trey. Let's make it work.
You ready to declare Purdy a franchise guy now?
No, I'm not.
It's fascinating stuff.
And I'm sure you guys are going to dig into that from 2 to 6, or 2:12 to 6. But, Steiny, I appreciate you. Let me sit in your chair for the day. Have a great time in Ireland. Goo will be back on Monday. It's been a fun show, guys. Dan Dibley and Alan Stiles coming up next on 95.7 The Game.